Hello and welcome. My name is Zach Zetterberg. I'm the curator of art in the Center for American Decoys here at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. And I'm happy to be with a good friend of the museum, Jeff Bridgman, who is the curator of one of our newest exhibitions, Faces of a Nation, the political textile collection of Mark and Rosalind Shenkman. We're gonna go on a little walking tour with Jeff, and he's gonna tell us about the new exhibition.
So this is the largest collection of presidential flags, kerchiefs, and banners ever displayed in a museum in America. It's pretty special to bring here to Peoria in this wonderful gallery with its huge walls, which really lends well to the display of flags, which sometimes can be big. The Shenkman Collection takes us through pre-Revolutionary War with the only known textile of that period with American political theme. This is an anti-Stamp Act kerchief made sometime between the Stamp Act, 1765 and 1770, when the Sons of Liberty formed and the Boston Tea Party followed. At this time in American history, presidents are not campaigning. So people seeking election are not campaigning for the White House yet. That doesn't come until 1840. So textiles that you see at this time are made to celebrate founding fathers of America, American military victories, deaths of presidents. In fact, that's what we see here in these two textiles made to mourn the death of George Washington, and here in 1804, Alexander Hamilton, in an extraordinarily rare kerchief. There's only one other known. It's at the Hamilton House near Harlem, New York, in Upper Manhattan. This is one of the most important things included here in this exhibit. So, like I said, we didn't campaign for president until 1840. Before then, it was considered unbecoming of a gentleman. This little kerchief with a cartoonish portrait of Andrew Jackson was produced for one or the other of his campaigns, either 1828 or 1832. So the first flags and kerchiefs made for political campaigning in America were produced for William Henry Harrison, who ran for president in 1840. But these were the first flags and kerchiefs produced for campaigning for the White House. This, as you can see, is sort of a template for which the image in the middle could be interchanged, and there were all sorts of different designs. This one showing Harrison in military garb. And the same kind of thing happened in kerchiefs, with here he is shown in civilian clothing, but sometimes you instead see devices like this illustration of a ball. This was actually a gigantic ball, taller than this wall here, that was rolled through towns with political slogans on it as a way to generate energy for the campaign. Also included in this exhibit are wonderful torches carried in parades in the 19th century. Political parades were mostly at night and torchlit. Look at these crazy examples with multiple wicks. This one on the left is probably from the 1860 or 1864 campaigns when Lincoln won the White House. Moving into the campaigns of 1844, where James Polk ran against Henry Clay, we have some extraordinary flags. This example was made for something called the Native American Party, which wasn't actually a political party at all, but a political faction of sorts that supported the nativist movement. You know, we think that sometimes that America wasn't facing some of the same challenges in the 19th century that we are today, but this was anti-Irish immigrant and anti-Catholic. It was the challenge that people, everyday people, were facing at the time that caused them to get together and lobby for certain things like 21 years to citizenship, which is illustrated here on this voting box carried by an eagle. Up top, the additional star outside the canton on this Polk and Dallas campaign flag represents Texas. It was his goal to further America in terms of land, and he was able to push Texas through to statehood after he got in the White House. An extraordinary feature to see on an early flag. On the back wall, the most spectacular thing in the exhibit, with one exception, and I'll show you, is this full wall of flags from the 1860 and 1864 campaigns of Abraham Lincoln. Of all political textiles, none are more desired than those that pertain to the two campaigns of Lincoln. And one of the most extraordinary on this wall is one of the smallest. In the 19th century, you could do whatever you wanted to with the stars. Place them in any sort of pattern. There were no official proportions for the flag, no official shades of red and blue, no number of points that the stars had to have. You could do anything you wanted. Here is one of the rare instances where they were actually arranged to spell something, and in this case, the word free. The wide awakes, illustrated here on this sled and on this Holy Grail type object of the Shenkman Collection, this Wide Awakes banner, was made for an organization that formed in 1860 in Hartford, Connecticut. Republican clubs all over the country applied to become Wide Awakes chapters. In Illinois, there was a chapter of Wide Awakes almost immediately in almost every town in the state. At the forefront here, not included on the back wall, is the best thing known in the world of political campaign flags and banners. This is the largest known portrait flag made for either of Lincoln's campaigns. Portrait flags are sort of the king of all flags within this genre, ones that feature his image somewhere on the flag, either in the stripes or in the canton. So this is the largest portrait flag. Bigger is better in this world. And not only is it a Lincoln campaign flag with a portrait in a huge scale, but it's also bigger than anything known from any other campaign for which flags were made. 1876 was a very rare year for political textiles. These three kerchiefs hung here in the center, and where in 1876, these are basically all the known types of kerchiefs, just three styles, very little made for this campaign. When you move on past that year into the 1880s and early 90s, kerchiefs, or bandanas, as they're more commonly called at this time, represent just a plethora of material that's available from that time period in America, and this is what was popular. In 1888, when Benjamin Harrison won over Grover Cleveland, these are Cleveland's three campaigns for the White House, won, lost, and won again. And this year, there are at least 60-some known designs from this election alone. So the massive difference in the use of the bandana in this wonderful Western style becomes very popular at this time in America. The end of the use of campaign flags can pretty much be said as occurring in either 1913 or 1916, when Woodrow Wilson won the White House. Only this and one other example are known, the other one not being quite a flag, but almost. This is by far the better of the two, a gigantic portrait of Wilson in the center. Each one exists as just a single known example. So an extraordinary thing to have here as the cap of the Shenkman Collection.
Hope you enjoyed the tour with Jeff Bridgman. Jeff, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the museum and putting this, helping us put this exhibition together.
Certainly. It was a pleasure and an honor.
An honor for me to work with you as well and making it look the way it does. And I want to say a special thank you to Mark and Rosalind for sharing their collection with the museum and with Peoria. Thank you, and hope you come to the museum and visit the exhibition in person. Thanks.